Hello, Scorpios. We love you so much. This is going to be reading for you for the month of November 2022. My name is Brett, since I didn't say that before. I love to read tarot, and I'm so glad that you're here with me. Scorpio, this is your season now. We are officially in Scorpio season, and the new moon in Scorpio is all about embracing change. In Libra season, we were figuring out what we needed to change to bring balance. And now that we know that, Scorpio is asking us to implement the change. Let things die that no longer serve us, right? Scorpio is the death card. So what I want to do here today, guys, is a little pyramid like I did last month. We'll do 4 cards, 3 cards, 2 cards, 1 card. Shape of the pyramid, right? And then we'll clarify with some cards. Right now I have the light Seers tarot in my hand, but I also have a Gilded tarot, I have After tarot, and I have an animal spirit deck that I'll probably use at the very end of the reading. But all right, Scorpio, let's see here. Let's see here, Scorpio. I need 4 cards for Scorpio. Please, Spirit, 4 cards for Scorpio. We have the King of Swords, Heir of Air. We have the 4 of Pentacles. We have the Page of Wands. And we have the Hanged Man. All right, Scorpio. So you're definitely entering the month with you want some clear communication. You feel like you have the ability to communicate clearly is what I'm getting. You know what you're capable of. You know yourself. And the King of Swords is about being up on this mountaintop. Like you can see, he's up on the top of the mountain and he can see everything. He has a really good perspective. The 4 of Pentacles, classically known as like the miser card, kind of about holding onto your money unnecessarily, like being stressed about money. It can also mean, you can see that this woman here, she lives outside of her home city, but she's living very comfortably in a mansion, right? At least it appears like that. She's well-dressed. I think this card has to do possibly with feeling like you're lacking when you're not. The Page of Wands, this is, all the page represent Earth, but this card in particular is about grounding your inspirational idea, your fiery, passionate idea into reality and finding a way to implement that. I imagine this character on this card grabbing that wand and slamming into the earth and being like, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm planting this idea and I'm going to let it grow. Because the card after this is the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands, excuse me. And the Knight of Wands is about moving that idea forward. The Page of Wands is about putting it into the ground. So maybe you're trying to put a new idea into the ground, or you have already. You definitely are feeling clear about it. You can see all the situations, right? The problem energy here, and I only say a problem because it's appearing at the end of the row, and this card is about a perspective shift. This card appears before death, and I think before we let parts of ourselves die, we have to hang ourselves upside down and shift our perspective in order to see it. Sometimes that means, getting out of the situation we're in now. Sometimes it means, just taking a day off and mixing up your routine in a little bit. Like go for a bike ride, go for a walk, do something that you don't normally do. Just mix it up, do something different. All right. So let's get a few more cards. I'm not seeing the whole story here, but there's definitely a lot of clarity here, Scorpio. There's a little bit of like penny pinching or feeling lack. But you do have like you have something really inspirational to you that you're trying to make a reality and move forward with. Let's see if you get the Knight of Wands. I mean, if you get the Knight of Wands, then that means that you're moving forward with it. But let's see, there is this perspective shift at the end of the row here. Oops, that card went flying out. Somebody grab that. The High Priestess. The High Priestess is the connection to spirit. It's the connection to your unconscious, which is how spirit communicates with you, right? Through your intuition and through your unconscious mind, basically. The High Priestess is related to the moon, and the moon, you can see on her head here, she has a little crescent moon thing, but really it represents all the phases of the moon is what the High Priestess represents, and how we can use the cycles of the moon to our advantage. And I'm not sure in how this relates to what's going on with you, but this card's suggesting that your intuition is going to be very important. Now, what do we have next to the High Priestess here? We have the Eight of Cups, and next to the Eight of Cups, I'll just pick again, we have the Sun. All right. So you're using your intuition, or you should be using your intuition, because there's something you need to move on from. And it's related, it could be possibly related to this Four of Pentacles. You might need to move on from the emotions surrounding this lack that you have. Because if you're experiencing the glass half empty isn't great all the time. You're basically thinking very negatively. And so I don't know if that's what's going on with you, but tarot here is suggesting that you need to move on from whatever this is. And the last card here is the Sun. So, you can see the person in this card is walking towards something, and they're walking towards clarity, right? They're moving away from things that no longer serve them. Even though they may have brought them happiness in the past, they're no longer really serving them anymore. And so they need to move on from that. All right, let's keep moving up the pyramid here. I'm going to get 2 more cards for the next row. 2 more cards for the next row, please. 2 more cards. All right, now you have the Three of Wands. Let me just do this. You have the Three of Wands and the 10 of Wands. All right, I'm just going to pick the last card here for the top, the Knight of Swords. So, all right. Yeah, so this page here, so you're trying to implement something. You're trying to ground some very inspirational idea into reality. And it leads up to, I'm getting this like you're needing to move on from something in order to really make this happen. And it involves kind of, what you need to move on from is this feeling of lack. And once you do that, what I'm getting is your shifts are going to start to come in at that point. Once you start to let go a little bit, and you just trust yourself, the universe is going to be like, you've worked so hard. You deserve all these things that are coming your way, and they will come your way, right? And I think what the next card is telling you, the 10 of Wands, is like, you've been on this long journey. You've picked up a lot of skills, right? That's what all the wands represent, are different things that you've done in your life that have served a purpose, but maybe they're not serving the same purpose that they used to, and it's time to move on from it, right? So Scorpio, I really feel that, yes, you're moving on. You have the Eight of Cups here. Like, you see that you're moving on, and you see that it's more than just moving on. You have to let go of some things too. And then you're going to be able to move forward. And this is the Knight of Swords. So you started here with the King of Swords. The King of Swords can see it all, right? And the Knight of Swords, he's on the ground, but he's moving fast. This is the fastest knight. And I can see that once you do that, once the 10 of Wands comes in and you release and you let go, you're going to be able to move forward really, really fast. And it's going to move quick, guys, like really fast. And I say that just because there's a lot of movement energy here. Like, Eight of Cups, a card of movement. Page of Wands, like, there's a lot of movement in this card too. And although this guy's stationary, there's a lot of movement around him. All right. So I'm done with these cards for now. I'm going to pick some clarifiers now. Scorpio, I'll probably do a few for the bottom row, a few for the middle, and then one for the top. So it'll be 3 rows instead of 4 this time. All right, Spirit, Universe, whomever you may be, I would like a couple cards to clarify the bottom row here. When I say a couple, let's go for 3. Let's get 3 cards here. All right, let's get 3 cards. Okay. So we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is the intuitive card. And it's connected here to the High Priestess, the King of Swords, and the Four of Pentacles. So like I was saying, you really, really are going to want to trust your intuition and feel your intuition. Like, you can hear your intuition. Like, your intuition is basically like, whenever your mind is quiet, right? And you just start like, you can feel yourself almost talking to yourself, but it's in a very calm, peaceful way. That voice is your intuition, the unjudgmental voice. And the Queen of Cups, it could be yourself. It could be someone else that's helping guide you. It could be a therapist. Like, I mean, I'm getting therapist here, but it really can be anyone that's guiding you and helping you look at your intuition. So what do we have? Ooh, these cards are loose now. What do we have next to the Queen of Cups? So death. Here you are, Scorpio. And right in the middle here, something, you need to let go of something, like I was saying. You really, really, really need to let go of something. The message is very clear. I don't know what it is, except to say it's related to this lack, this feeling of lack that you are moving on from. It's very clear that you're moving on from it. I am getting that. It seems obvious to me. You know, it's funny. I've had this sun in the same position for a couple readings, and especially in this reading, I really feel like you have the ability to see things clearly. You really do. All right, what's next to death? What the heck do we have next to death, Scorpio? The devil. Of course it's the devil. The devil's appeared in almost every reading, people. Like, negative thoughts. Moving on from negative thoughts. Moving on, please. You've got to do that, all right? You've got to do that, Scorpio. All right, Scorpio. What's up the next? Ooh, that one. This card wanted to come out. The Page of Wands. Page of Wands again, right? Needing to plant something into reality, but having this feeling of lack. You're feeling this lack. Now, this is appearing a couple rows up in the clarification. So this energy is carrying with you through the month, I feel. It's not just at the beginning of the month. You're going to be experiencing this as you go along. It's going to continue. What's next to the page? The Eight of Cups again. I'm telling you, like, the fact that we're getting the same cards here from 2 different decks, right? It really is telling me this energy is so important for you. You need to move on. There's a lot of moving on energy here, and it's because you're holding on to things from the past. Ways of thinking. It could be a person. I'm getting a person now because I don't know. Let's see what's at the top. I think there's something at the top here, people. Let's see what's at the top. Ooh, a lot of cards want to come out. I'm going to take the top one. The Four of Swords, healing. Yeah. So with the Knight of Swords, you have the Four of Swords. And like I said, something needs to die. And after something dies within you, you're going to need to rest a little bit. And since this card is coming up with the Knight of Swords, I'm really thinking before things really start to move, you're going to have to rest a little bit and reflect. Because this is connecting with the Four of Pentacles. You're going to need to see that looking at life half glass full, it's just not, although that may have worked for you, Scorpio, it's not going to work anymore. And the universe is saying, this is an opportunity for you to let this go. Wow. That's a really nice reading, Scorpio. Although this is difficult energy, it's very clear what you need to do. I think in some of the other readings, at least In the Gemini reading that I had, it was confusing a little bit. And with this, it's very clear. It's very, very clear. All right, Scorpio, this is going to be your animal spirit card. I just want to see, what are you working with here? What is the energy that is going to best serve you moving forward? What's the energy that's going to best serve Scorpio for the month of November? Something that they can keep in mind. All right, the oyster. Oh, and the tiger. Oyster is, I'm very connected to this oyster card. You know, the oyster spends a lot of its life under stress, right? And they keep that shell closed so tight, you know, to keep out predators, to keep out things that might want to eat it, whatever reason it might be, right? And when I think about humans and I think about the oyster card, I think about closing oneself off from the outside world. I think about how when we do that, when there's so much pressure within ourselves, right? And that pressure just like, it builds and it builds and it just, what happens with the oyster is it creates a pearl. But since the oyster is shut tight, so tightly, it's closed so tightly, that pearl is inaccessible. What this tiger energy is saying, and this is the fire, this is a water card, and this is the tiger is a fire card, right? The fire card is suggesting it's about paying attention to the moon, right? The moon card's here. I'm going to pull the book out because there's there's something else that's coming to my mind, and I just want to confirm it here. I don't want to misrepresent the card. Oh, yeah. So the cheetah, I was talking about the cheetah in another reading, and the cheetah is about solar force. The tiger is about the lunar force, so the force from the moon, right? It's very feminine energy. The moon can be about your emotions, but it's about moving through darkness with ease, and it's about not fearing where you're going. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, and the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. So, I feel, in order to access this pearl, you're really going to need to connect and heal your spirit a little bit. And the devil card is here. There is some negative, shadowy things that you might not see, but I feel like the devil is above the sun. And so I feel like the negativity might overshadow the clarity that you're trying to see, that you're trying to get, but it's still there for you to see, right? Like the Eight of Cups was clarified by the Eight of Cups. The Page of Wands was clarified by the Page of Wands. So there's absolutely like, you are inspired, Scorpio, but you're also afraid to move on. And Scorpios are so afraid of change. So it can be a big challenge for a Scorpio to change, especially when it comes to their emotions and how they feel about things, because they can be stubborn. So Scorpio, cut it out. Just some advice, cut that out. Embrace the fact that you do have a portal inside of you. It's there, but you have to find ways to see it, and you have to connect to maybe parts of yourself that are new. But I do think that there's a lot of positivity in this, and that once you do that, things will really start to move for you, and you're going to see a lot of goodness come into your life because of that. So thank you, Scorpio. I really appreciate you watching with me, staying with me this long. We're at the almost 20-minute mark, so I really appreciate you sticking with this. I really love doing these readings. If you want to subscribe, if you want to like the video, that's wonderful. It does help my channel grow. There's also a donate button if you feel like supporting the channel. This isn't my full-time job. I'm doing this in my spare time. So anything is helpful. Thank you guys. I hope you have a really, really good November. Bye now.